Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club Podcast, where every month we deep dive into different aspects of cinema, directors, genres, actors, or franchise. It doesn't matter because it's always fun at the Film Club. I'm Dean.
I'm Becky.
And this week we are talking about not a movie, but a lot of different movies. We're talking about our
Year in review.
That's right. We're going to go through the entire year, top to bottom, every minute that we remember, because
a lot of minutes to remember.
A lot of things happened, but we're going to talk about our year.
Yeah.
And this was a very interesting year. This is what, year 3, 4 of the podcast?
This is year 4, so next year will be our 5th year of the podcast.
Yes, and this is the first year we did video episodes.
Yeah.
Hello, video episode
Hello.
peoples. It's the first year our YouTube and our Spotify releases have been synced.
That's a miracle.
It was a lot of work.
Kudos to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It's our second year of doing guests, and I think this is our most guests year.
Yes.
So, yeah, we had a lot of milestones this year.
A lot of milestones.
And we're going to get into all of them, but Miss Boo, Miss
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
The girl over there.
Yeah.
The woman on the right side of the screen.
Is that me you're looking for?
Yes. What do you want to get started with? Because we got a lot of little categories we wanted to call out.
I think we should probably do our top 10.
That's right. So, yeah, we have both of our respective top 5s. We go back and forth, building together, builds the top 10 of the year.
Just in case you watch us on here and you haven't, listened to our regular broadcasting, our year in review, we do top 10 episodes of the year. We pick 5 each, and we see if any of them overlap. Most of the time, they're pretty different. I think maybe we'll pick one movie, similar, but usually it's all different movies.
It's only happened like last year with Ed Wood was the only time it's ever actually overlapped.
And that was such a good movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. But with that, the top 10 of the Film Club. So you wanna get started? What's your number 5?
My number 5, I'm gonna be biased. It's Twilight.
Oh, sweet God.
It was a few weeks ago. We just released that episode. It was in our first year as well, but it was just a lot of fun. Cousin of the Podcast was on for that entire month, and it was just fun to see you experience the movie again and talk about, what it was like for me and Yasmin to go see it for the very first time and be fans of the books.
It was a really strong episode. Also, it was very enlightening to watch the entire franchise all the way through. Guys out there, I know Twilight was the devil's films for a long time, but they're not that bad. They're actually kind of funny if you give into the kind of absurd nature of it all. So I would recommend the Twilight films. I don't know if I'll watch them again.
Are you Team Jacob for life, though?
Oh, absolutely. No, Edward's fucking weird.
Okay, baby lover.
So, my number 5 film of the year, talking about weird romances, is Glenn or Glenda?
That was good.
Yes, it's the first Ed Wood film. We did it for Ed Wood Month. It's the movie. Watching it, I was really taken aback with how auteurist it was. Hashtag most pretentious thing I could have said about that movie. But it's one of those movies that I found incredibly enlightening just to talk about, and how weird and wild Ed Wood as a filmmaker was. And I think Glenn or Glenda encompasses the whole Ed Woodian month really for me, because
that was a fun month.
It was really fun. We got to explore traditionally the worst filmmaker of all time and come out of it being like,
was he really that bad that people claim to be? I'm like, no, dude had some stuff cooking. It's just
he had none of the technical expertise to achieve any of it. But yeah, so Glenn or Glenda, my number 5.
Okay, well, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand with my number 4 because I chose Bride of the Monster.
Oh, his best movie.
I loved it so much. I can't wait for us to go to maybe Midsummer or Son of Monster Palooza so we can, go to the Lugosi booth and find a physical copy of Bride of the Monster, because I'd love to have that on DVD.
It's low-key probably one of Lugosi's best monologues in film. No joke.
With the Atomic Superman.
Yes, with the Atomic Superman bit, it might be Bela Lugosi's best fucking performance as a thespian, and this motherfucker wasn't like Shakespeare.
He was. He was Dracula.
He was Dracula.
He's the Hungarian hunk.
But yes,
Forever will be the Hungarian hunk.
of course.
But I loved Bride of the Monster.
Such a good film.
Such a good film. I mean, I love the effects. I love the body double that came in to be, you know, Atomic Bella Lugosi at the very end. It was just a very fun movie from beginning to end.
Oh yeah.
So we are down to our number 3.
No, it's my number 4.
Oh, you're number 4. Sorry.
God damn it, woman. Learn math.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm so excited. We're talking about movies.
I know. My number 4 for the year was a movie that I hadn't seen in forever, and I completely forgot how much of a banger it was. Oh, you're thinking about it. It was in Johnny Depp month. It's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Ooh, that was such a good movie.
Yeah. What?
No, not was. Is a good movie.
Yes, is. This movie we watched, and I think it was at a time for me where, God, all the movies coming out are so, like, samey and boring, and nothing's, you know, exciting. Like, all the mainstream movies are, like, all the Marvel stuff and blah, blah. I was just kind of down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And then I go back and watch Pirates of the Caribbean, and I'm like, holy shit, movies could be fun. And like
who would have
adventure
known?
films, yeah, who would have known? It was like going back to being I have no idea how old I was when that movie came out. I may have been like 10 or something. Going back and watching that when it took me back to like fun adventure films and childhood memories, and it was just such a lovely experience.
Being excited to be in the movie theater.
Yes, being excited to be in the movie theater. I really dug Pirates of the Caribbean. That one was. It was just a straight banger.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
I love that movie.
I love that movie. Also,
I wouldn't mind, you know, re-recording that episode too, because I'm sure we could probably find more things to talk about.
Exactly, such as Keira Knightley. And then I remembered why I loved that movie as a young man.
It was the same effect as The Mummy '99.
It was a thing.
You had a hot cast, and it was just like...
The Mummy and, like, Pirates of the Caribbean, those franchises were incommunicado at this time, I swear. But that was my number 4. Now it's your number 3.
My number 3, I'm a little, again, biased about this, but I also had a very good time talking about this movie. And again, it had a very attractive cast. Sleepy Hollow.
Oh.
Did we match?
Oh, we matched.
Yes.
Sleepy Hollow's my number 3. Like, we matched dead on the money, too. It's all way over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sleepy Hollow. What can we say about it? I
brought the book.
She brought the book. Sleepy Hollow is another one of the movies I haven't seen in, I don't know, 2 decades, maybe?
For you, yeah. For me, it's like maybe a 1-2 time a year viewing of it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't remember why I stopped watching it. It's a movie that is the perfect encapsulation of what Tim Burton has been trying to repeat for the last like 20 years.
He's like, this is who I am. This is me. This is me. And it's like, we finally see you and it's beautiful.
Yes. It's like, oh, it's like gothic and like desaturated but it's still like there's vibrant reds and stuff when it's the blood.
Foggy. The clothes are chef's kiss.
Oh, the design of the movie is wonderful. It's one of those movies where I'm so surprised people don't bring it up more often when they talk about goated Tim Burton films.
That is like one of like the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Burton, we did a whole Tim Burton month before, right?
We did, but there's still more in his catalog that we can do.
Well, the problem is after like a certain point of the 2000s, it's all kind of trash.
Yeah, but like, there's still more to discuss.
Well, when the guy was on top, he was on top.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've come to the conclusion, and it's like Ed Wood is his best film. Sleepy Hollow's somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Pee-wee's Big... probably Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice
is what I would put in his top 3.
It's so hard, because that list...
You want to put Pee-wee in there?
For me, the list is always changing. It depends on the mood that I'm in.
I see that. Tim Burton's not my guy.
Yeah.
He's your guy.
He's my guy.
He's your guy.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. It is interesting, though, even though we're both on different... we're both on different ballparks for Tim Burton. We both kind of were like... No, fucking Sleepy Hollow is one of the best movies we saw this year.
Well,
Best episodes.
I mean, that movie is a banger, but I was saying I was biased because that's the episode we got engaged in.
Oh, yes.
So, I know that just completely... Oh, yeah, that was the same day.
Oh, yeah, everyone. So, by the way, Sleepy Hollow came out on Halloween. Yeah, and that's when I proposed to Becky. So see that ring over there? I spent way too much money on it.
He said not enough.
Not even close to enough. So yeah, we're gonna get married. It'll be fun. We'll do a podcast episode at the reception. It'll be
We
great.
will. Yeah, we'll go live.
It'll be great.
Like, follow, and subscribe.
Yes. So that was
Our number 3.
that was our number 3. Yes,
We matched.
we matched. What is your number 2?
My number 2 pick, I think, is going to truly surprise you because I forgot it was this year, so it kind of surprised me as well. But it was just a movie that I couldn't get out of my head. That's another one that I need like a physical copy of because I just enjoyed it so much. Sunrise.
Song of Two Humans.
Yes.
Holy shit! You actually like that movie?
I loved it. I told you that when we recorded it.
Well, yeah, but it is great. For anyone who wants to go back and listen to some of our old episodes, there are movies we've reviewed, talked about, and it ends up being like, yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was fine. And then I find out at the end of the year, you're like, I've literally not been able to get that movie out of my head. It has become my obsession. And I'm like, in the episode, you were like, yeah, it was fine. 7 out of 10. It was cool. It was nice.
I was just trying to be, very nonchalant.
I see.
Yeah, I'm just playing it cool.
Cool.
I can't, excite you with, I love Sunrise.
Sunrise is such a good fucking movie.
It is, and I'm really sad that we missed seeing it at the Academy Museum.
Oh, God. I know. I wanted to go see it so bad.
I forgot what we were doing that day, but it was like something that we couldn't back out of. And I was just like, no.
And then you told me about it. I'm like, I would have backed out of that. Fuck yeah. I would have gone.
But no, Sunrise, story-wise, is beautiful. The visuals are beautiful. The actors are beautiful. That man is handsome.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things. It's a joke for the pretentious film people who like the sight and sound people of that era is like, oh yeah, we made the perfect movie in 1927. Everything else has just been kind of middling around with it. Because Sunrise is so good. Everyone, you can watch Sunrise free on YouTube right now. It's by F.W. Murnau. It comes out in 1927. It is goated.
The same man that did Nosferatu.
Goated with the sauce. Also, Nosferatu is going to be a banger. I'm so excited.
Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the episode.
We might talk a bit about that at the end of the episode.
But that's my number 2 pick. Don't sleep on silent films. Watch them, enjoy them, help preserve them because you don't need words sometimes. You just need actions.
I mean, they're making silent films now. Hundreds of beavers, thousands of beavers.
Oh, I'm so mad we missed that at the Frida.
Oh, did we miss it?
It was at the beginning of this month.
Oh, I see.
After I saw the trailer, I was like, yeah, I understand why people are going nuts for this. I want to see it.
Well, we watched the trailer, and I leaned over and I'm like, man, did no one else in here see Gold Rush? It's kind of the same movie.
And I was like, I will sit here and I will watch new Gold Rush, and I'll go home and watch old Gold Rush. I don't care. This looks amazing.
But yeah.
So Sunrise is my number 2 pick. What is yours?
My number 2 pick is Little Shop of Horrors. It is one of my favorite films of all time. It is, no joke, my favorite musical ever made. I adore this film. I've seen it since I was a child. This is the first guest episode I have on my list. My brother showed up to actually talk about this because this is like low-key his favorite movie.
Was that our first guest? Because I think he was on for...
Oh, no. I mean like the first on our top 10 so far because that's the first guest episode we talked about. But yeah.
Well, no. Twilight was.
Oh, yeah, Twilight. Damn it, she beat me to the punch.
Wow, just completely sweeping Yasmin under the rug there.
Yasmin's a woman. She doesn't count.
Wow, sexist.
Yeah.
Get him out of here. Let me throw my Dr. Pepper at you.
Don't worry, it's fine. But
I wouldn't want to hurt my Dr. Pepper.
Exactly. That's the proposal, Dr. Pepper.
No, that's not.
Oh, well,
that's at home.
Gotta keep that safe.
That's under, a glass case.
But yes, Little Shop of Horrors is a great movie. I would recommend this to everyone.
It's on my honorable mentions list.
We should do the honorable mentions, but we'll later.
If we do the honorable mentions list, we'll be here all day talking about, but that movie.
But yeah, Little Shop of Horrors, one of my favorite movies of all time. I loved being able to talk about it on the podcast.
It was so much fun. Because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I've only seen like bits and pieces, like YouTube. They pop up like the music videos, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll just kind of go through a spiral of watching all like the major songs, and then it was like, okay, let's watch it for the podcast. And I watched the director's cut where Audrey dies and they take over the world, and I was like, I don't remember it being this depressing. And you're like, no, that was the director's cut. I'm like, I guess I gotta go home and watch the original version of it. And it was fun. It was so much fun all the way through.
You know the best part about Little Shop of Horrors? This movie is so ingrained into my soul that when I made my movie Ragdoll this year, I didn't realize I ripped off the plot.
You didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read your scripts and I'm like, that sounds familiar.
Is this Mouse Hunt?
And you're like, damn it, she noticed.
Damn it, she noticed. Well, it's a lot of it's unconscious. I just didn't realize it, but
there she is.
yes. Yeah, I made a movie with this thing in it this year.
With a lot of our guests that were on the podcast this year.
Yeah. But yeah, Little Shop of Horrors, my number 2 film of the year.
Strong pick.
Thank you.
I'm surprised I didn't pick a musical, but we had a very diverse year in film.
Oh, God, yes. I mean, going through just like the themes we had this year, we did the worst director, best director, Ed Wood, Stanley Kubrick. We did musicals, we did animated films, we did silent films, we did
franchises.
We did
90s horror films.
90s horror films. We did we did a lot of movies this year. A lot of themes this year.
And that was missing a month.
We did. We missed August.
Yeah.
For an unrelated film.
Yes. We don't talk about that film.
Yeah, but that was a lot of stuff we had this year. But it's time for the number 1.
Number 1 film. I don't know if you're going to guess what it is.
Is it an animated film?
No.
Damn it. I have no idea what it's going to be.
My number 1 film of the 2024 season is The Shining.
The Shining. Oh, strong pick.
That was such... I love the movie. And again, I'm probably being biased, but it was also a very fun experience because we went to go see it at Hollywood Forever with our guest host, Jack, that joined us for the very first time on that episode.
Not Nicholson,
but we probably could have got Nicholson too. I think the 4 of us would have had a good time recording it.
Nicholson's not doing much right now. It's fine.
I mean, it is basketball season, but, we could have gotten him.
Yeah.
But it was just a very fun experience going back and reviewing the movie, going to Hollywood Forever for the first time, and having a guest host who loved the movie and just brought in his energy about his love for this film. And it's Kubrick. It's Kubrick month.
Kubrick month was one of the stronger months.
It was a fun month.
Even our weakest episode was still like a really solid. It would have been like Paths of Glory probably.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. I'm like, it would probably be Paths, but Paths was still a lot to talk about.
Paths was still like a 4 out of 5 episode.
Yeah.
That whole month was full of bangers. But yeah, The Shining is such a good movie. I haven't watched that movie in its entirety in years because it's the movie that permeated pop culture the most. It is the movie.
Like in the episode, we see it in The Simpsons. We see it in so many different cartoons that it's like, if you got a little bit of a craving for The Shining, you could just watch, a couple of clips on YouTube and you're good. But this was, I need to sit down and watch this for the podcast. I need to absorb everything. And it was, I think, both of our first time seeing it on the big screen.
Yes. It was the first time seeing it on the big screen. It's one of those movies that you watch it, and it is in my realm of the perfect horror films. Or at least it gets to the kind of horror films like I like, where they're not jumping out and making you scared. They're not, like, doing gross, weird things. They just make you feel profoundly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Watching The Shining in a cemetery made me feel profoundly uncomfortable.
It was awesome.
Profoundly uncomfortable.
I was so happy sitting there watching the movie, even though we were freezing, the mist and the fog was rolling in. I'm like, this is the best experience ever.
Such a good episode.
It was. That's a goated episode.
So good.
Yes, so that is my number 1 pick of 2024. What is yours?
My number 1 pick is also a Kubrick film.
Of course it is.
It's one of my favorite films ever made.
Yes.
It's 2001: A Space Odyssey.
What? Not Eyes Wide Shut?
Oh my God. Okay. So
was that the moral struggle right there?
You have no idea. You have no idea. Okay, because 2001: A Space Odyssey, Thomas came on. Thomas is one of those guests where
Thomas requested that we have 3 hours booked so he could talk about 2001.
We could have done 4. We could have done 5. That episode is dense. It's wonderful. 2001 is one of those films where it's like, God, I wish I had infinite time to just watch that movie. So that one got the handicap because one of my favorite movies of all time. We had a really good guest on. We talked at length about everything in the movie. But the other thing with the Eyes Wide Shut thing is that movie was so close to being my number 1. You have no idea.
I know you.
Well, because Eyes Wide Shut is also a movie that we talked about, and you were like, I really don't like this movie, but we kept engaging with it, and it kept getting more juicy the more we
Yeah.
talked about it. That was like Eyes
And-
Wide Shut is kind of like perfect example of you and me episodes.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a thing that's taken you a while because you used to be like, oh, what do you mean you don't like the movie that I like? And I'm like, well, I don't have to like the movie, but the conversation always ends up being 10 times better than the movie for me.
Yes,
Where we could
but
sit
then,
here and we could talk for hours and really deep dive into the movie, and it's like, wow, this is interesting. We should host a podcast.
and then I say, I don't really like that movie, and you're like, I hate you, Dean. I'm gonna go home now.
Well, because it's like, I'm like, oh, it's near and dear to my heart. You're like, oh, that's nice. And then you're just like, ugh, fuck your heart.
Never once.
Always.
But yeah, 2001, my number one shining number. We had Kubrick's.
Kubrick's, who would have known?
Who would have thought? And you didn't even like Kubrick when we started this.
What, the month or in general?
Well, maybe not in general, but I know we talked about it when we were doing Kubrick month, and you're like, Dean, I've seen like The Shining and Full Metal Jacket. I don't really care about the rest of them. Or I guess 2001 because we saw that in theater.
We saw that, but it was just like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to make you suffer with Kubrick month.
I didn't say suffer. I said I'm gonna make you understand why he's
No,
the
he
goat.
said suffer and he laughed.
The goat.
And laughed.
I
But
laugh a
yeah,
lot.
that was our top 10 of 2024.
Yes.
Only one matched,
Only one match.
and it was the same number.
Yes,
That's pretty good.
it's pretty solid. Pretty solid. But with that, we talked a little bit about our guests. Do we want to call out all of our guests?
I think we have to.
All right, because
Because there was how many this year?
we had a total of 12 guests this year.
Not bad.
Yes, and I know that sounds like, oh, you guys had a guest a month. We had one guest on for 6 separate episodes.
Yeah.
Another for 4. We had a bunch for like 3s, 2s. People were on a lot.
Yeah.
Like in total, we had let me see here, 10, 15. We had 16 separate guest episodes this year. We only did like 40 something episodes, so it's almost half were guest episodes. But yeah, so I have them all listed out here, and I ranked them. The top 5 guests in order of appearance. So tied.
I didn't rank any of you guys. I love you all equally.
Well, don't worry. It's by appearance. So a 4-way
That's
tie.
That's what he says.
So we have a 4-way tie for number 5.
Okay.
Jack, Reggie, Matt, Cielo came on one time,
One time.
and those were wonderful episodes.
They were.
Jack had The Shining. Reggie had You Got This. I Believe in You.
Gay Puri.
Gay Paris, which was really, really fun. It was the last. It was the only animated film that.
Judy Garland did.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful movie.
Oh, that honestly, go back and watch Gay Paris just to admire the art style of it.
I hope maybe the Frida or another like art house theater does that. I would like to go to a screening of that just to take in all that Technicolor.
Well, that on the big screen is like amazing.
That's why I was like, I can't wait.
We also had another first time guest. We had Matt.
Yes, for the Phantom Menace.
Great episode.
Oh, that was such a fun episode.
We found out he loved his mom a lot.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Matt, were you just having a day?
He was having a day.
He was just like, I love my mom so much.
So much. We also had Cielo come on for her
Yes.
first episode for Phantom of the Paradise.
Yes, we did.
So much fun. Love Phantom of the Paradise.
Yes.
I think it might be a better movie than Rocky Horror, and I am in the minority.
Ooh, yeah, we're not going to go there because we did talk about Rocky Horror this year with your sister, and that was one of my honorable mentions because that was such a fun episode and the better of the two films.
Oh.
I know what I said.
So wrong. Now we have tied in 3-way tie for number 4 for three-way tie number 4. Each of these people did 2 episodes. We have my sister Beth, who did Rocky Horror.
She did Rocky Horror, yeah.
Her first episode, and she's like, I'm just gonna do a casual 2+ hours, just real casual.
Yeah.
Just casually 2+ hours first episode.
And I was like, damn, I thought I had a lot to say about Rocky Horror, and she was like, hold my beer.
She's like, I was in the fucking play. Hold my beer.
She was.
And then next we have Brandon with 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Bringing another great Clint Eastwood movie.
he did.
Bringing Tightrope. Tightrope was one of the funner movies we talked about on November.
November. And then he was with us for the Snyder Cut for Justice League, which also, that was a banger too.
The Justice League episode changed my mind on Zack Snyder as a filmmaker. Like that.
I saw the
Yeah.
wheels turning. You're like, he's a new man.
Brandon has this innate ability to be right about something that sounds absolutely asinine and just be proven absolutely correct in 5 years. I swear to God. He's done it with every version of the fucking Justice League movies.
He knows things.
He knows things. Who else knows things? Alex.
Alex, he does know things.
Alex is one of the only guests that actually got us gifts.
He did.
He brought us these t-shirts.
And the funnier thing is that we didn't plan this.
No,
No,
we did this on accident.
Yeah, he came to pick me up and he was laughing and I'm like, why are you laughing? And he goes, look at what I'm wearing today too. And he opens his jacket and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So thank you, Alex. We love our t-shirts. We love those episodes. That was a fun day recording both Scooby-Doo episodes back to back.
Oh, they were so much fun. Also, they held the most views on our YouTube
Yes,
channel
they did.
for a long time. Right now, the most viewed episode on our YouTube channel is actually Suspiria
With Dylan, yeah.
with Dylan.
I was getting a little spooked because the other day the numbers weren't moving and it was just sitting at 666 and I'm like, this isn't right.
Yeah,
We can't have Suspiria
Now,
sitting there.
now it's 669.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
Huh.
But yeah, I would rank the YouTube episodes, but unfortunately, or like most views or whatever.
Yeah.
But we only synced up like in June, so it's kind of unfair. Some of them
Yeah.
got released really quickly.
Maybe next year. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, so that goes out to all our guests who are listening. Be entertaining. Become the most viewed episode on YouTube. This is the challenge. But speaking of Dylan, he is in a 3-way tie for third most appearances. At 3, we have Dylan, who, Suspiria.
Mm-hmm.
Again, love Dylan. He's
Yeah.
great, solid guest. He also did our Nightmare on Elm Street episode.
He did. That was a really fun episode.
Very fun. We also have Thomas, who
Well, you forgot that he was also in Justice League.
he was in our Justice League episode with Brandon too.
With Brandon, yeah.
Yep. We also have Thomas, who did my favorite Thomas episode. I know, like, 2001's my favorite episode of the year. My favorite was when he did Last Jedi.
Because it was such a funny experience having the people here at the comic book shop that also have their podcast, Keeping Up with the Nerds.
Yeah.
Hi, nerds.
Hello.
We told them, hey, Thomas is going to come in and review, what was it, The Last Jedi?
Last Jedi.
They shook the man's hand. They were like, God bless you. Good luck to you.
It was like he was going off to war, being like, "Go get him,
Yeah.
son." That was one of my favorite podcast experiences. Everyone I have no idea how you're going to defend this movie.
And he did.
He did for it was one of the more crunchy episodes of him being very political of look, there's some things I'm not going to fucking defend. 90% of the Finn shit, I can't do it. But the Luke Skywalker shit, he kind of brought me around on the Luke Skywalker storyline in Last Jedi, which I thought would never happen. Ever.
But he did it.
Ever.
He did it.
He did it. But the next person we have
Well,
there
you
is...
forgot.
Yes, the Blair Witch
Blair
Project.
Witch Project.
We got kicked out. It would have been a 3-hour episode.
It would have, and it was my first time watching it, and it was, it was kind of a banger. I'm kind of sad I slept on it all this time.
We'll do it again next year, and we'll have to try and get it to a 4-hour episode.
Oh God, we probably could get it to 4 hours.
We
honestly.
were on the way to a 3-hour episode, and then we overlapped with another podcast in the studio, and we're like, shit, okay, we gotta go.
That's might be one of our funniest exits of the year. Because we're just like, okay, and follow us, and blah, 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 and yeah, we're running out the door, okay, bye.
Yes. Blair Witch, solid episode.
Yes.
And then we also have Renee, another guest for the Justice League episode.
Yes.
He also owns and runs this studio for us.
Yes, he does. Thank you, Renee, for everything that you do to help us.
Thank you. He also did our Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. And he also did
Your favorite film of the year, The Pest.
The Pest.
The Pest.
During our November series.
Yes. Which, honestly, I would like Renee on more. It was The Pest episode was more fun just trying to understand why he loved it so much.
And then he made us understand.
He made us understand. I still don't know if I like that movie, but I understood why he liked it.
I'm still in the camp. It's a movie. It's a movie of its time.
It's a movie, yes.
But it was fun. And then we got Red Robin afterwards. It was a fun experience.
I did learn. I liked Red Robin.
You just barely learned that?
I just learned that. It's been a while.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But now we have our number 2 guest of the year with 4 appearances.
Yes.
My brother, Randy. It
Or
was...
Wolfie, like I call him.
Sure. Yeah, he did Sunrise. He did Phantom of the Paradise. He did
Lawrence of Arabia.
and
Little Shop.
Little Shop of Horrors. Again, he has the most variety of appearances because he did a musical, an epic, a silent film.
I was just thinking about last year when he was on the podcast when we did Elephant Man, and we almost burst into tears, all three of us.
When he started reading from his Bible.
Yeah, we were just like, oh my God.
But yeah, Randy was on a lot this year.
Randy always impresses me that he's able to come in here with no notes.
No notes and talk about basically anything.
Yeah, he's able to shoot from the hip, and it's always very profound. So we miss you, Randy. Come back to the podcast soon.
And he'll be like, nah, fuck you guys.
And I'd be like, bet.
Yep. But now, our number one guest of the year with the most episodes.
Should we call her the Iron Lady?
You can call her the Iron Lady. She would enjoy that. She's from England with 6 episodes.
She's not from England. She's from here.
She went to Edinburgh. With 6 episodes, we have Yasmin.
Yes, cousin of the podcast, was the Iron Lady. She almost was last year. She got dethroned by Alex, and she was very salty about it.
And had to come back.
Come back swinging.
Because she came in, she did
all of the Twilight movies.
That's all 4, because there were 4. It's 5 movies, 4 episodes.
Yeah, we combined Breaking Dawn into one big episode. She did Cleopatra, and she did Sweeney Todd.
Yep. She did 6 episodes for the year. She did the most episodes of the year, the most minutes on mic combined.
Thomas is going to be so pissed. Sorry, Thomas.
Oh, wait till we get to the longest episodes of the year.
That I already know.
But yeah, Yasmin, showed up, and honestly, the Twilight series she did in December really just padded her fucking numbers.
She was just like, at this point, it's just gravy on top.
Yes. But yeah, another great guest. I would love to have her come on if we ever do a noir month, because she really digged Sunset Boulevard. I think that we turned that into her favorite movie.
I don't think we turned it into her favorite movie, but she enjoyed it. Kevin really loved the movie too. That was, I think, my favorite movie the year that whatever we did that, maybe it was last year?
I think it was last year.
Yeah, so that was such a good episode too. That's a goated episode.
Yes, everyone go back and listen to that. Also listen to our Blue Velvet episode. That was one of the longest episodes we did.
One of the
that
longest,
year's.
one of the most listened to. I think it's in our top 5 on YouTube.
Oh yeah, easily. It's also great because 90% of that episode is Yasmin telling me that movie means absolutely nothing, and then proceeding to tell me what all the bullshit means.
Yes.
The movie is so dense with nothing that she couldn't stop talking about it for like almost 3 hours.
It made for a good episode.
Strong episode.
I don't think I talked that much in the episode. I just hung out. It was great.
You love those episodes.
I do.
But yeah, those are our guests of the year with how many appearances they've been on and all their appearances. And to all of our guests, we'd like to say thank you.
Thank you for being there for us. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for supporting us and believing in our podcast. I know in the beginning people are probably like, 2020, they're making a podcast, like how original.
Because everyone made a podcast in 2020.
I needed something. I was going crazy. But to see our guests excited to join us and to talk about movies and to come up with ideas for different, months.
To start lobbying for episodes and insisting, they're like, look, I hear you're doing this month. Please let me be on.
I need to be there. Thank you. It means so much to us that you guys are just as excited about the podcast as we are.
And hopefully next year we can double. We can have 24 guests on the podcast.
We got to do it big next year. Next year's our 5-year anniversary.
Yes. We're going to do so many guests. Every episode's a guest episode. Fuck it. Do it twice.
Oh, God. That's so many guest episodes.
So many guest episodes.
We don't know that many people.
Also announcing we'll be just trimming down the release schedule. 1 episode a month.
1 episode a month?
God, no. That would be awful. I would go fucking stir crazy.
Same.
But yeah, so there are the guest lists of the podcast.
Yes.
What do we want to go on to next? I have the longest episodes and the shortest episodes.
Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll round out the episode with top 5 moments of 2024.
Ooh, okay. So I know everyone's probably so engaged with me just rambling off lists, but it's a clip show.
You do that all the time.
Exactly. This is a clip show, all right? This is the end of the year clip show. So, the longest episodes, I have the top 5 here.
Okay.
Each one of these actually beat out the longest episodes from last year.
Okay, well, that's progress.
Yeah, because last year our longest episode was about 2 hours, 5 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But all of these are over 210. And we have a tie for number 5. We have our Justice League episode and our Last Jedi episode, both tying in at 2 hours 10 minutes. Fun fact:
there was like what 5 of us for the Justice League,
yes,
and it was just one guest for Last Jedi.
Correct. Well, the thing is, the Justice League episode, the raw file is probably closer to 2 hours 45 minutes, but there is a long section of that where we talk about random Kevin Smith movies and things completely unrelated.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I think people were going in and out for the bathroom and stuff, so there's like long chunks of it where it's just us shooting from the hip, which might release that on a special DVD, bloopers of the podcast. But yeah, so those are the 2 number 5s. And then we have Hercules at 2 hours and 11 minutes.
I brought the tape with me.
She brought the tape with her. Yeah, so my sister, she can very easily just talk for like 2 hours on about any movie. We found that out because the number 3 is Rocky Horror Picture Show at 2 hours 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she is very good at talking about movies for at least 2 hours easily.
Look at Bats go, back-to-back episodes.
Back-to-back episodes, yes. But Hercules was a lot of fun. I haven't seen that movie since I was a wee lad.
We all cried.
The ending of that movie's hard.
Not during the recording.
No, like during the movie.
Yeah.
Because the end of that movie fucking hits. It's so good. And then the number 2 longest episode, just squeaking over Rocky Horror, is The Shining at 2 hours and 22 minutes.
We probably could have talked longer.
Oh, probably could have. I think at that point we had hit every major beat of the movie, and it was like, it's kind of getting hungry. You guys want to go get food?
It was just gravy after that point.
Oh, it was so much gravy. And then the number 1, the longest episode of the year, blows all the other ones out of the waters because it comes in at a solid 3 hours even. That is 3 hours even. Our longest episode, guest, not guest, throughout all time.
As requested, and we provided.
2001, A Space Odyssey with Thomas. He was the longest episode of the year.
Yes, he was.
By far. Like, that's something that I found impressive was it, because I was like, oh, we did a couple of like 2.5 hours, whatever. There's one that's like 2:45, but because I edit all of these, those are all the raw recordings.
Yeah.
Thomas's was 3 hours 22 minutes, the raw recording.
Yeah.
And then trimming it down, because I don't think some people might not realize this if it's the audio one. I trim out some stuff because sometimes we go on really long tangents that don't really go anywhere.
Sometimes there's bathroom breaks.
Sometimes it's like, hey, I kind of lost my place. I want to go back, reiterate that point. There's stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
Even with the trimming, it's 3 hours even. 3 hours even edited for time.
I upload our episodes and I do the bios on them, and with that one I knew, okay, I got to upload it sometimes when we have, our little bit longer episodes like Hercules 240, pushing. It takes a little bit to, go all the way through in our software. Yeah, I sat for a while and waited for 2001 to upload. I was like, I got to write this bio. I want to go to sleep, and it's still loading. It's still loading. Yeah. That one deserves its own award for the 2024 season.
Yes. The longest episode, the most difficult to edit, the most difficult to upload. But this is a challenge that goes out to all of our future guests. 3 hours, guys. You got to beat 3 hours. That's the statement.
Please don't all start requesting 3 hours.
The fun fact, the reason why it's 3 hours is because I remember Thomas said, oh, I heard that Dylan and Brandon wanted to make the longest episode of the year. And then they made the longest episode of the year because Justice League was really early. They did over 2 hours. Usually our episodes range about hour 30, hour 45. We usually don't do over 2 hours. And they're like, longest episode of the year. Bang in it. And then my sister comes in and does Rocky Horror. And she's like, oh, 2 hours. Oh, I heard they're doing like 210. I'll do 220. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. You squeaked it out. And then Thomas was like, wait a minute. 220 is the longest? We're doing 2001? Book me 3 hours. Book me 3.5 hours. I want to show up.
We had no idea that this was going on behind the scenes with our guests, that they were like, oh, you did that? All right, bet I can outdo you. And then it's like, what?
I legit don't mind. I love long episodes.
And the fact that he dropped that during the episode too. We had no idea, and he was like, hey, yeah, we kind of got into a thing. And we were like, yeah, I can outdo you. No, I can out-record you. So please don't request like 4 or 5 hours. I don't think we can, I don't think we could talk for that long.
Oh, we can. Everyone, I want a 5-hour episode.
Oh.
Honestly, Lawrence of Arabia should have been a 3-hour block, but
we didn't have that much time.
it's because there were people after us and before us, so we got locked into a weird timetable.
Yeah.
But we might go back to Lawrence of Arabia and do it longer.
It's a beautiful movie.
It's so fucking good.
And I think that was a lot of what we said in the episode. It's beautiful.
It's so
the
fucking
music
beautiful.
is beautiful.
I mean, Blair Witch almost made it on here. It ended up being like 2 hours even,
Mm-hmm.
but that was another one he was aiming for a 3:20 on that one. But those are the longest episodes of the year. The shortest episode, because there can only be one short episode.
And it's like, I honestly don't know what our shortest episode is.
Oh, you know. Fear and Loathing.
Oh, that's right.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas coming in at a whopping, a fucking enormous 49 minutes.
Yeah.
We couldn't even do an hour on Fear and Loathing.
It also didn't
I
help
love
that
this book.
We were hungry too.
Yeah, we were kind of starving. The problem is like, I love this book. It's a very good book.
But it's a vibe movie.
It's a vibe movie, and that was something that we learned long ago
Yeah.
when we did Mandy and
Suspiria.
Suspiria. And it's like, oh, these movies are really plot light and
Mm-hmm.
they're more vibes. This has a plot. The only thing is it's a messy kind of movie because it's kind of like the Gilliam style where it's
Mm-hmm.
very visual and there's high energy. And yeah, we didn't have a lot to say about it. It's also the thing where it was in our Johnny Depp month, which
Yeah.
was like the first month we recorded in 2024. That's what year this is.
That's this year, yes.
Yeah, that was the first like month we actually recorded this year because
Yeah.
we recorded Silent Film Month like in December.
Yeah.
And I think it was like we're coming off of like
Christmas
and
New Year.
vacation, and it's like, fuck, I'm tired. So yeah, the shortest episode, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Completely forgot about that.
Doesn't surprise me. It was only 49 minits. But yeah, so
we were struggling too.
it was a struggle film. I honestly, that's an episode I wouldn't recommend going back to, just because at the end of it, we're like, read the book.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Fear and Loathing, our shortest episode. Don't know if we'll ever go back to it. If we do, I think Dylan said he had a lot to say about it.
Okay.
But there's that.
I think that could work.
That could work, but that is all the stuff I have on my little yellow sheet for the year in review. What do you got left?
Top 5 moments of 2024 for us.
Oh,
Doesn't have to be podcast related, just, stuff that we experienced this year.
this goes out to everyone who just follows our Instagram and very occasionally comes to the podcast, because most of our Instagram is all the cons, all the pop-ups, all the events we go to,
Movies.
all the movies we go to. But yeah, I have mine in no particular order, so wherever you want to start.
I have mine in order.
Please.
It would be our Scream screening at the Frida on 16.
That was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
Oh god, that was like kind of weird watching Scream on 16 because of how grainy drive through it looked. Also, the colors looked
beautiful.
weird. Yeah, it was beautiful and weird. It was a weird way to watch that movie.
But it was a vibe. I loved it. They ended up doing an additional screening because it was just in such high demand. They did it like the following week. And I was like, no, I want to go back and I want to see it again on film. But we already had something that we were committed to, so we couldn't go see it.
It happens.
It happens. But what about you? What's your...
In my no particular order,
In your no particular order.
I would say probably meeting Ken Faree and getting my copy of Dawn of the Dead side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to, was it Midsummer Scream?
Yes.
So Midsummer Scream, I go to get stuff signed. We
Yeah.
go to these cons or whatever. Usually I'm gonna like bring you 3 or 4 things. If I get them signed, whatever. Mostly I go to pick up movies.
There you go. That's your usual. And you finally found your Grail piece
Yes, I finally.
at Scream.
I did. I found my copy of Persona, not Persona, fucking Possession.
Possession.
Which, by the way, that's one of the most well-acted movies I've ever seen in my life. It makes no goddamn sense. That movie hurt my brain.
I am going to miss going to cons and you asking the movie people if they have Possession and the same face that they all make. And they're like,
Nah, Dick. I'm sorry. But yeah, so meeting Ken Faree at Midsummer Scream was wonderful. It was also weird because there was no one in line.
no.
So I got
we
to,
just walked right directly to him and he's like, hey, how you kids doing? And it's just like, you're you.
Yes, I got to walk right up, got him to sign this. We talked for a few minutes. It
Yeah.
was really cool. Really cool. Great guy. Everyone go, next time you see Ken Furry at a con, go give him some money. Get him to sign some stuff. He was really nice.
He was very nice.
But yeah.
My number 4 was our 10th anniversary this year.
Yes. 10 anniversaries of just being together and being awesome.
And we went to Warner Brothers. It was fun. We went to Smokehouse. We got steaks.
Yes. Warner Brothers is also on my top 5, by the way.
It's in a different order.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll put it in the same. Mine's in no order. So yeah, my number 4 would be going to Warner Brothers and experiencing the Batman experience, watching Batman 89 in the theater.
Oh man, that was so much fun. Seeing all the Batmobiles.
Mm-hmm.
Being the inaugural screening for Batman 89 in that theater. Because it was just for people that worked on the lot.
Yeah.
And it was the first time they opened it up to the general public. That was such a cool experience.
I really enjoyed that. 10th anniversary, wonderful, but watching Batman in the Warner Brothers theater, so good.
It's
So good.
so good.
But yeah.
So 10th and Batman.
Yes. So you're number 3.
My number 3, let's see. It's got to be The Shining at Hollywood Forever.
Such a good showing.
Oh my god, that was so fun. I can't wait for next summer when Hollywood Forever brings back their summer screenings. We will be more prepared next time. We will bring chairs and everything that we need because we were in some pain from sitting on the floor.
Back started to hurt after a while.
Yeah, back started to hurt after a while, but it was such a fun experience going with Jack and his fiance. Thank you for inviting us again. Yeah, just being able to see one of the greatest films of all time in a cemetery, in one of the most iconic cemeteries that I've been begging you to take me to forever. There was even a bet. Alex was there. He was a witness to that, and it took Jack for you to finally take me to Hollywood Forever.
Profoundly uncomfortable.
No, you weren't.
Profoundly
you were
uncomfortable.
scared when we got there, but once you started to see things. Once you saw Johnny Ramone's memorial, then you were like, okay, this place is kind of actually pretty cool.
No, I was like, oh, this is cool, but I'm also like, I'm not stepping on anybody's grave. That's just not fucking happening.
And you didn't.
Exactly.
You were fine.
Yeah, you're walking over people's graves. I'm like, no, that's bad. That's bad juju. They'll follow you home.
No, you don't step on headstones, but you can walk on the grass. It's fine. You do, you're respectful of it.
No, not a fan. Not a fan of graveyards.
Okay.
Great screening, though.
Yes, great screening. So what was your number 3?
It has to be getting my Evil Dead poster signed by Bruce Campbell. It fucking has to be. I loved going into the con, and oh god, it's one of the worst cons we go to every year, but it has the best guests. Like fucking Ozzy Osbourne was there.
Yeah.
You know, the whole cast of like Ash versus the Evil Dead was there. But we show up. We wait in line for like 4 or 5 hours.
We waited in line for 5 hours. And the con isn't bad. There's lots of cool things. There's lots of cool guests that go to this con. Because meeting Bruce Campbell's my number 2. So I guess I'll piggyback off of this. It's how they do the pictures and the autographs. Because you can hop in the line as soon as you get there. The line moves. But the first, session of photos with,
the guests.
The guest, the artist, whoever it is, they will just stop the line dead. And they'll go take the pictures, and sometimes the pictures overlap, so you end up waiting a lot longer.
Mm.
And that's how we end up waiting 5 hours to meet people, and it's kind of rough.
Oh, yeah. I mean, granted, this isn't like, oh, we go in line and we just stand there for 5 hours. It's like, okay, we go in line. Okay, you go and, like, enjoy the con for, like, whatever. Come and tag me in, and I'll go enjoy the con for whatever. So it's not a thing where it's like, oh, we're just sad people waiting in line.
We can't move. We can't go anywhere. It's like we can leave, but it's kind of awkward to go and enjoy the show floor when it's like, well, I want to talk to you and I want to show you things.
You almost got that $100 Frankenstein script.
Oh, yeah. I still regret that, but it was a little too expensive.
It was fine. It was an original from 1931.
I got a really cool poster, so I'm happy with my Bruce Campbell poster.
Yeah, but that's got to be up there.
I mean, we got to talk to him for a few minutes. We shook his hand. He was very Bruce Campbell.
It was groovy.
I mean, Dean, as soon as we got into the room with him, his face went white. He stopped talking. He's talked in a very low register that I'm not used to hearing.
I was very calm. Everything was fine.
No, you were very, my idol, my hero.
The champion. But yeah.
I mean, he made me a little nervous too. I mean, how can he not? He's Bruce Campbell.
He's Bruce fucking Campbell. All right,
I mean,
so
I still love my poster.
Of course you do. Okay, so that
Okay, thank you.
was my number 3 and your number 2.
That was my number 2. So what is your number 2?
It has to be making my movie.
Ragdoll, yeah.
Yeah, so this year I got to make a short film, Ragdoll, with this thing in it. And that's where we got to meet Jack. Well, we already met Jack before, but he did
Well, you did. You met him on Interrogation.
Yeah, he did One Day on Interrogation. Great actor. I watched a lot of that raw footage, and I was like, I think this guy has something. Had him read for Ragdoll. I was like, perfect. We brought a lot of the guests here are also like the people I make movies with, so they all came on to
Yeah,
that.
Jack, Dylan, Brandon, Alex,
Thomas.
Thomas.
Yes, and a lot more people.
Yeah.
But we all got together. We made the movie. It, was a project. It was a lot of work.
I mean, you can't say it was a project. I mean, it was nominated at, some festivals.
Yes, it got into about 3 or 4 festivals. It was nominated in top prizes for one of them. It was shown at another up in Chino, which
Yeah.
on
Halloween.
on Halloween, and I'm like, well, there's other things going on that day. I can't really go. But yeah, so it was a passion project, a labor of love. I'm so happy with how it turned out.
It was a lot of fun to do that project.
It was so much fun to do it. I'm planning on releasing it on our YouTube channel at some point. It's almost done with this festival run. Once it's done, I need to figure it out with the people who help produce it for me, because I think they're wanting to do something with it too. But you guys on YouTube land will be able to watch my movie eventually.
I can't wait. I mean, it's such a good film. I'm not saying that because, he's my fiance. No, it's a great film. It was a great concept when you first came up with it pre-pandemic.
Oh yeah, pre-pandemic. It was just Little Shop of Horrors, but with a doll instead of a plant.
Yeah. But it was a great concept, and then you kind of, sent it to everybody in the group, and everyone was also of the same consensus that it was a great story, and they really wanted to make it. They wanted to direct it, and it was so fun to finally get to that point and, be able to turn it into what it was.
Yes, and I was so happy I finally got to make a movie not at my work for the whole time. But
yeah, it was nice to actually be on a set.
All right. So, your number 1 moment of the year. I'm curious if we match up on this one.
I know. I have a feeling we're not going to match. You're going to be like, oh, right. Yeah,
that
that was my favorite one of the year.
Yeah.
Us getting engaged.
Yeah, that's my number 1 too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Nailing it. But yeah. Yeah, it's been fucking long enough.
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years. 10 casual years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we're engaged. I think we mentioned it earlier, but yeah.
We briefly mentioned it earlier, but that was my number 1 of the year.
Same. And getting steaks after, that was the best.
Yeah. Oh, you got lobster too.
I did. If you said no, I would have gotten steak, lobster, and ice cream. You said yes, just the steak and lobster. Sometimes you eat your feelings.
Interesting. I'm surprised you didn't get 2 lobsters.
I thought about it, goddammit. If it weren't for the fact they were hella expensive, I would have gotten 2 lobsters and 2 steaks.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, those are our top 10 moments of 2024.
Yeah.
You got anything else in there?
No, I mean, that's it. I mean, we have our props here. You kind of, mentioned your Ken Foree signature.
Yes.
I talked about my Sleepy Hollow, my Hercules.
All the Kubrick movies. Kubrick came up a lot in this episode. I'm surprised.
I've got your Shining book that you loaned me, my Grail piece, my Twilight soundtrack that I bought, 15, 16 years ago. We have a nod to Dylan with the Freddy Krueger glove.
Yes.
And then we have, the beautiful Nosferatu popcorn bucket that we're so excited to go see in the theaters.
Yes. Do you want to spoil what next year is going to hold?
Are you dying?
I almost died. Do you want to spoil what next year is going to hold? Sorry, everyone. I kind of died in the middle.
Because, I mean, even though this is at the end of the year and we'll have seen Nosferatu by the time
this gets released?
Yes. So right now, we still haven't seen it. We're very excited. The reviews are amazing on this.
It's directed by Robert Eggers, who I literally did a whole month being like, everyone go see Nosferatu. Please, God.
Yes, you did. And I'm very excited to, eventually talk about this on the podcast. And it's not going to take too long because January is going to be a very gothic, a very me month on the podcast.
Yes. For the entire month of January, we will be doing Nosferatu month. We'll be doing the
Nosferatu.
Exactly. Just like Beetlejuice. Same 3 times and Orlok shows up. But yeah, we're going to do the Murnau original and we're going to do the Werner Herzog 70s remake that has Klaus Kinski in it.
Yes.
That one's wild.
Oh yeah.
And then we're going to do the Robert Eggers, brand new Nosferatu film. So it'll be 3 solid episodes. We might have guests.
We already have a guest slated for the new Robert Eggers version of Nosferatu. I'm excited to bring that guest back.
Yes.
He is chomping at the bit to get back.
Very excited. We have so many guests that want to come back.
Yes.
But yeah, but the rest of the year, we don't really have orders, everything lined up, but we do have a couple of concepts we're working on. I think we want to do a Lord of the Rings month.
Yes.
At some point. I think we're also, are we thinking about doing an Aliens month, or is that still in the thing?
That's that's a thing.
Yes, Aliens month. What other ones? I mean, obviously
we can't spoil everything.
I know.
I know you get excited about our themes.
I love the themes.
We gotta leave you guys with a little bit of suspense.
But yeah, look forward to those next year.
Look forward to January, where it's all about Nosferatu.
But anything else we want to talk about?
No, I think, since this is the end of the year, we just want to thank you guys for either following us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or here on YouTube. However you found us on social media. Thank you for supporting us and allowing us to continue this journey into film.
Yes, there's really nothing I can say other than thank you all so much. We are probably one of the only podcasts on the internet that doesn't have a Patreon or GoFundMe or Indiegogo or anything like that, because we just love talking about movies, and we love doing it with you guys here. So you don't have to support us with your money. Just support us by watching our stuff and sharing it along.
And liking and subscribing.
Subscribing. Yeah.
That would really help too.
Subscribe a lot. Yes.
But also
make a couple of bot accounts and subscribe to us more,
I mean, we like the fans.
We like the fans.
Also, thank you to Undercity Comics, because when we started this podcast, we were recording this in your bedroom.
You can tell, everyone. If you go back and listen to some of those, they're a little rough.
And without, you finding Undercity and us, coming here and recording and working with Renee, the podcast would not be at the level that it is right now. We wouldn't be doing guest episodes. We wouldn't have, a home for the film club. Mm-mm. So thank you, Undercity, for being our home away from home.
And with that,
we'll see you next year at the film club.
Have a good year, everybody.